Bag alert, major bag alert. Oh, bag alert. Here we go. Welcome to the weekend, everybody.
Welcome to the weekend.
Off and running.
Ow!
If you are listening to this, you are in the weekend. If you are watching this live on YouTube, come on, you're in the weekend. Might be a Friday afternoon, but we're after lunch on Friday, so we can
That's
really
usually
start
when the
a Thursday.
sales guys head to lunch and have a liquid lunch and then just keep it right into happy hour to right into the weekend and keep screwing around.
That's one thing. Work from home, I don't think it's changed people's appreciation of a Friday, mid-Friday, you know?
No.
Mid-Friday, still mid-Friday. That is so ingrained, that'll never change.
I've been working from home, so have you, for, 4 or 5 years now. It feels different Friday afternoon than it does Tuesday afternoon. There's no question about it.
Welcome to the Mailbag, everybody. Here's what you do. You go to iTunes. You leave us a review on iTunes. In that review, leave a question. Leave a question. That's a big key to the Mailbag. Leave a question in the review. We appreciate the compliments, but we need a question. 5 stars on that review. That's how you get in the Mailbag. Also, we have, how would you characterize our Facebook involvement? We're back. We're paying attention to it again? Involved in it?
We're back. We're back.
So we really want the reviews on iTunes. That's helpful, but maybe we'll include a Facebook question if you go to the Haberman and Middlecoff Facebook page. Like right now, a lot of people ask about getting in the DraftKings League. Sometimes it's hard to find without the link. On our Facebook page right now, John, Friday morning, I just put up the link to our DraftKings League. Next week is the U.S. Open. We're going to have a huge game, 200 people, $20 a pop. Big game. You can go get in the league right now so that you get the invitation as soon as that game goes live on Monday morning. Use the promo code HAM when you sign up on that bad boy. And, that's one thing you can go to the if you're looking for a reason to go to the Haberman and Middlecoff Facebook page, there's a reason. Go do that.
Yeah, we post podcasts there. Share it with your friends. You guys know the drill.
Yeah, we appreciate the support, and definitely we appreciate the sharing with the friends. Okay, this podcast, this stream, brought to you by our friends at wineaccess.com/ham. 20% off, baby. Wineaccess.com/ham.
Oh, 20% off. Send a gift right now. Wineaccess.com/ham. Look at Haberman. He's got some Pinots. He's got another Pinot. He's got another Pinot. Here's what you do. You got a brother. You got a sister. You got a wife. You got a mom. You got a dad. You got a cousin. You got a college roommate. You want to send them a gift. It's pretty easy. You go to wineaccess.com/ham and you order some wine and you send it to your people. And then it gets delivered. It's awesome. How awesome is that?
You just got
how many bottles?
Bottles on bottles.
Haberman's got 5 bottles.
I got 5 bottles just sitting here. It looks like what is this? A 8-5 split on the bowling alley? You know?
Yeah, you could throw a wine party right now.
I could throw a wine party.
You could have a wine tasting party today.
We should pop a bottle. Is Wine Access on the pod next week?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Next time they're on, we'll pop a bottle on the stream and on the podcast. We appreciate. Look, 20,000 wines get tasted. Only one of 18 makes it. Over the course of a year, only one of 18 makes it on wineaccess.com. Something for everybody. Send a gift. We appreciate our partners at wineaccess.com/ham. We appreciate your support of wineaccess.com/ham.
Appreciate you. Wineaccess.com/ham. Go use it.
All right, John, here we go. Let's dive into the mailbag, and let's begin with this question. School, this isn't, come on, man, is the headline. 5 stars, thank you. School and more, done for the year. It's officially happening again. I guess, Tavares could be back at the back end of the season. Thanks for flagging my previous review on the YouTube. Hope you guys stay healthy, swinging the sledgehammer. Best pod in the biz. Keep grinding. Jay, I guess that's not even a question. But that's what I would add. It feels like, and I said this the other day, and I'll say it again on this mailbag, John. Kind of weird, right? Trey Lance's debut OTAs, and the story coming out of it's not really Trey Lance. It's Niners injuries. Hard to overshadow a rookie quarterback.
Media only got a little access to him, right? They did a good job of canceling practices around eyeballs, and they cooked the books a little bit.
That's true.
The practice we attended wasn't that long. The one before was even like half as long. So there's just been limited interaction with the human being. And I'm pretty sure since the rookie minicamp, it's not like he talks. He's not really available. They got a good deal because you don't, especially once the season starts, if he's not the starting quarterback, he never has to talk, right?
Yeah, and that's where, if he becomes the starter, he's going to really miss out on the rookie, immersion program that the Niners got they had to bang.
Yeah, well, I'll lead Tuesday's class. Real estate's expensive, people, so get ready.
All right, next up, this is from MeowW Monzer. Locked on Lance. Woo! This is a paragraph. Wanted to start by saying you guys are the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, YouTube premium subscription in my life is worth it. Now to my question. I've been locked in on Trey ever since we traded to number 3. Never believed Mac Jones clickbait. Popped my own eardrum when they made the pick. Everything I hear, I guess from screaming so loud, everything I hear about him continues to build the narrative in my mind that he's going to be great. Kyle handpicked him to be his quarterback for the next 15 years. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid so much that I bet my friend $3,000 that Trey will win at least 3 regular season MVPs. On the one hand, I love having a bet that has a long time frame on it. Gives me some time to scrape the money together. And on the other hand, I looked at the MVP list, and 3 MVPs is certainly elite company. Have I gone too far?
Yes.
I love that he specified, or this person, I don't know, he or she, specified league regular season MVPs, not to be confused with Super Bowl MVPs and Pro Bowl MVPs.
Rodgers just is in the midst. He's probably, what do you say, like hole 15 of a career, right? He's not hole 17 or 18, but he's definitely on the back 9, right? And he's not
we're on
10.
3-point. You start doing the math, and you realize you're 15 points behind Hawk and Middlecoff, and you're probably out of it.
Yeah, he just won his 3rd MVP, right? Aaron Rodgers just won his 3rd MVP. It's
Russell
difficult.
Wilson has none, and you would take Russell Wilson's career right now for Trey Lance.
Not only has Russell Wilson have none, isn't the story he's never even had a vote?
Or at least a first-place vote, yeah.
Well, you only get first-place votes.
No votes?
I think that's the way it works.
Not
I don't
like
think
Derrick
he's ever got
Rose's fan vote for the MVP?
Yeah, I don't think he's ever got a vote. So it just...
He wants to be in Seattle, John.
I would
never
say
requested
this.
a trade.
If Trey Lance wins an MVP for the San Francisco 49ers, it's an all-time great pick. 1 MVP, correct? Do you agree with me there? All he has to do is accomplish 1 MVP.
Yeah.
That means he's still on the Niners, and it's going well. They fucking nailed it. At 3, you're asking, it's like, hey, I would love one day to make $1 million, but I think one day I'll be able to make $15 million. Like, if you make $1 million, you're killing it. I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. 1 MVP is
not we.
incredible.
This Meow's getting ahead of ourselves. 3,
like
and
Lamar,
also 3K.
But Lamar Jackson for the Ravens is a walk-off home run right now, right? And they struggle in the playoffs, but the MVP, they're always good. 1 MVP, I'd put the over-under on Trey Lance's MVP is at 0.5. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Not at 1.5.
Well, no. It's yeah. Austin on YouTube. Cam Newton's 1 MVP is worth it. Doesn't look like Mac Jones is going to beat out broken-fingered or injured-fingered Cam Newton, John, from reports.
If Trey Lance is Cam Newton, the Niners will do cartwheels from San Jose to Los Angeles. Right?
Yeah. Of course. He doesn't even have to be Cam Newton. Next up.
I think they're hoping a little better, but
no bad days.
Different.
In my opinion, there's a lot of similarities between Javon Kinlaw and Henry Ruggs. I believe the Niners drafted them for traits and long-term upside. They both flashed in their rookie year, but probably underachieved in year 1. I see a big leap in year 2 for both. What do you guys think? This question sounds familiar. I don't think we've done this question before. I liked it.
I don't think so either.
I like the comp in terms of why a player was drafted. The difference, I would say, is all the guys drafted around Henry Ruggs and after Henry Ruggs in his draft class were incredible. And when I say all of them, I mean 13 of them were really good.
Yeah, I'm going to push back on this one a little bit. I'm going to his rivals.
The other thing,
he was a huge recruit. He dominated in college. His last 2 years at Alabama, really his 3 years at Alabama, 6 touchdowns true freshman, 11 touchdowns sophomore, 7 touchdowns junior. So he plays immediately on the best team. Kinlaw, remember, had to go to junior college, kind of bounce back. Wasn't really that productive in college. Like Ruggs was, you saw him kick the shit out of people on the best program, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was drafted. You're saying he was drafted for an immediate impact more than Kinlaw was. Is that what you're
and
saying?
rightfully so, yeah.
Yeah, but okay, I agree. But where I would agree here, where I would push back on your pushback, John, I see a big leap in year 2 for both. I do think year 2, for Kinlaw, you want it. For Ruggs, you got to have it. But you could argue for Kinlaw, you got to have it.
I'm going to also push back. Ruggs
on which
has
pushback?
A distinct skill. Like when
he's
you
fast.
draft, he's arguably a top 2 or 3 speed guy in the league immediately, right? Kinlaw, I mean, he's big, but there are a lot of guys big.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like,
but he's
what is he good
athletic
at?
for a massive guy. Like, he's pretty athletic for a guy his size.
He's a true raw product. You're hoping to hit a home run. To me, Ruggs is already he already functions in the league. I'm not saying Kinlaw doesn't. I see what the guy's saying. I just think they're a little different. I think here's what I would say. If you and I ran a team and we could draft Ruggs or Kinlaw, if we were in a meeting, I'd go, well, when we draft Ruggs, we know immediately what we got. Now, he has things to work on and improve on, but I know one thing he can do well, where even if he's not that good, he's going to be Ted Ginn, right? Kinlaw could just stink. I'm not saying he stinks, but way riskier pick, I think, Kinlaw than Ruggs.
Yeah, I mean, Reggie Bush is another example of a guy like Ted who wasn't exactly like a superstar, but was super useful, right?
I think Ruggs' floor is higher than Kinlaw's.
Yeah, I would think so too, but Ruggs was a non-factor last year.
No, yeah, I think he'll be fine. I don't know how great he's going to be, but I think his floor is. I think his floor last year was pretty good, right? Just running deep routes, clearing fucking the place.
Next up from Swaggy P, do you guys think if Walter White in Breaking Bad had a redo on his life, he would have just accepted the money from Gretchen and Elliot? Okay, it's been a while since I watched the show. I think it's been even longer since you watched the show. Gretchen and Elliot were his partners in the company they started that he cashed out at $5,000, and then they made, billions, millions, whatever. When did they offer him money? Like money for his treatment? Is that what they offered? And he refused to take it?
If I remember correctly, early on they gave him a blank check to help, save his life, and he was so prideful that I don't know, quote unquote, he got screwed, but just the way everything had played out, and if I remember correctly, did he rip up the check? It's weird. The only thing I remember about Breaking Bad is Saul Goodman. Like anything that involves Saul Goodman, anything pre-Saul Goodman, it's a little out of sight, out of mind.
Is it because you then turned around and watched the Saul Goodman?
Hot take, I like Saul Goodman more than Walter White.
Well, he's the best. Yeah, I mean, what made Walter incredible is you hated him, but you rooted for him, but then he was the bad guy and you rooted for him, but he was the good guy. It was weird. Saul Goodman's just you're right, incredible character. I don't quite remember this part. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the show, Walter White dies without his family in the end. So you would think he might do it differently.
If you have two roads, I think you would always choose the one that can lead to health and just semi-success over drugs equals prison/death.
But
right?
the paper chase, John, the power, the pursuit of power, quote unquote, fun while it lasted. It was a good ride.
I feel like your head's always on a swivel in that game.
Yeah. Yeah. In the major drug game.
Yeah, I think in normal people life, if something goes weird, they just go, hey, you are being subpoenaed or you are being, sued for whatever, lost weight, In the drug game, they just shoot you.
You got both. You got them chasing you, the rival gangs, and you got the.
And honestly, they might not even shoot you. They could tie you up, throw gasoline on you, and light you on fire. Sometimes they don't even make it easy, right?
Similar question. No, they want you to suffer. Similar question from Gilroy Boy, huge fan of the pod. What are you guys watching in your downtime? Movies, TV, HBO Max, Netflix, Hulu? What's your favorite streaming platform? P.S. Listening for a minute now. I started using some of your vernacular. I'm always pushing back now. LOL. I've been on HBO Max a lot lately, I think. Netflix. You have Hulu? I don't have Hulu.
I think I got a month subscription to watch this show called Snow, I think, about the cracked game in the 80s. But it was kind of like a poor man's Wire. It was okay. I don't have really anything to watch. I'm out. I've watched it all.
What did I just watch? Oh, I watched some of, I think it's Showtime, City on a Hill, Kevin Bacon. I love Kevin. He's good in it, but haven't really finished it. Boston, Feds, drugs, that kind of thing.
The black guy in that show, I liked that show. Was the black guy the lawyer?
He's the DA,
him and Kevin Bacon,
or something like that. Did you watch all both seasons or 3 seasons?
I enjoyed that show more than the newest show that everyone's raving about. Did nothing for me. Mayor of Easttown.
See, I liked that show. I thought it was good.
Yeah, just to me, it's okay.
Too slow. I've heard.
My point is, I've seen that show, right? They've made that, and the thing with Kevin Bacon, that's kind of the go-to pitch in Boston.
I just thought like Kevin Bacon show. There's too many holes in it for me. Just like he was when he wasn't in it, it was just like for me. Mayor of Easttown, Kate Winslet, I thought was phenomenal. She was funny. I don't know. I liked it, but what else?
I watched 10 minutes of the final episode and turned it off.
Well, I watched the show Hacks on HBO Max. Kind of funny. 30 minute. I'm not, a 30-minute show. Quick, that's good for you. Get in, get out. I can't even remember some of the other stuff I've watched. Told you I watched Tenet the other day. Late to that party. I'm not smart enough for that show.
Yeah, I need something.
I watched The Americans a while back. That's old. Went old school. But I would say HBO Max on that.
I need to check that out.
What's the show with I don't know. Obviously not good enough to remember. Something about love. It was the name of it. It was about like this guy that
Notebook?
creates an alternate universe. Not an alternate universe, like a digital space that he lives in, and his wife escapes from it. Ray Romano's in it. He's good. It's kind of funny.
Haven't seen it.
F1 on Netflix.
Not
I
bad.
watched a Leeds thing the other day on like Amazon Prime. Did you ever watch that one?
No, I
watched
didn't.
one
Pretty
episode.
good.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I just watched it because it was Leeds United, trying to figure out what they were about.
The Man City one I thought was really good. Amazon Prime.
That's what I was trying to find. Do you know what
A
that
couple
one's
years
called?
ago. Just type in Man City to Amazon Prime.
Next up, hey Poppy, I live in St. Louis and I hate the Rams now, so I hate root for the Niners. Make Middlecoff say major bag alert.
Major bag alert.
Nobody ever talks about the Rams fans left behind, John. A forgotten group. I don't know exactly what it is, who they root for now.
Well, to me, can you be angry when you are angry over something that you stole? Like if I squat in a house and I got squatter rights, and then for whatever reason the owner of the house just gives up, just gives it to the squatter, and the squatter has the house. And then like 10 years later, the house gets ripped away from the squatter. Can that squatter be mad? Like you guys stole the fucking team in 1994. Now, where I would be mad, Stan Kroenke, Missouri guy, really had his eyes on just moving them back to L.A., right, when he purchased the team. But he is a Missouri guy. Like that's kind of that area is where he's from. It's his home. I understand hating him. I push back, though, like how did you guys get the team?
Well,
And to me,
I agree.
If
I
you
just
got
wonder,
the team like pre our birth,
I just think,
some of those moves in like the 60s and 70s. Guy, this was 1994.
Of course, but I'm just, regardless of how it happened, now this guy doesn't have a team. I don't know what you do. Also, I think like we're LA. Like here's the other thing: is like LA. People in LA were not like clamoring for a pro team. Now it's there and it's working and it's gonna whatever. But
I remember they went through some rough times in St. Louis. Pretty empty places. The stadium.
They were terrible. You're right. Wearing bags on their heads. Next, what are your thoughts on the difference in wages between male and female athletes? I understand women's sports don't generate the same amount of income, but in your guys' opinion, will women's sports ever be able to shrink the gap between them and their male counterparts? I think the Team USA Soccer obviously has had a long-standing fight over this with the U.S. and United States, however the abbreviation is. And their argument is, well, we're better than the men's team, and I think they actually have two different salary structures. Like the men get paid only in bonuses, and the women's team actually has like a base salary.
Yeah.
So I do think one thing that'll happen, like I was wondering about this today, like with the NBA and the WNBA. Right now, the difference in income generated is like 7.3 billion. The difference in NBA versus WNBA income generated. But so that gap is massive. But there's so much growth opportunity. Whereas for the NBA, is everyone going to be making Chris Paul's options like $44 million next year? Like is that guy going to be making $60 million in 10 years?
No, my take on the NBA.
So the salaries will come down. I don't think there's any question. Salaries will go up in like the WNBA. It's still relatively new, right? Imagine. Yeah,
the
John,
WNBA wouldn't.
The league's 20 years old.
But they wouldn't exist without being subsidized by the NBA.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. They're 20 years old. So like, take NBA salaries in 1970. Like if you're just gonna be around for another 50 years, it's gonna go. Your salaries are gonna go up.
Yeah. But by how much would be the thing, right? Because even if the NBA salaries come down, let's say a max guy goes from 50 to 33,
Yeah.
right? Just as the new TV deal, is a WNBA star ever making like 2 million instead of 500,000 or whatever the number is?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we're a ways away. I'm just saying with men's professional sports, we are 100. Some of these sports we're like 100 years in or 70 years in, right? But but what it's always been based on that side is just income generated. That's what it's been based on, right? When did the salaries go up? When teams started being worth $2 billion.
Yeah, and when more people watch the TV rights, right? It's
Yeah.
just we're a consumer-based society. Where I think the women are going to cash in, and people have talked about this in the college sphere, is social media with the Allison Stokey, the star gymnast, the star swimmer with huge internet followings, right? Wasn't there a couple of the highest collegiate basketball players? The women had more followers than the men. Like that's where they're going to cash in. Pro sports, it's just simple supply and if they get the consumers to watch, they will make more.
Well, and some of that social stuff can translate it. Can they convert some of that social media? They've got big pieces of the pie. Can they convert that to viewership?
But my point is, in college, I think the girls, like the high end girls, might make more than even like your quarterback star at Alabama. She might cash in.
You're right. Before we go any further, John, let's tell the people about Indeed. Indeed.com/ham. Right now, get a free $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/ham. You're the hiring expert for your company, and what you really need is help making your short list of quality candidates. You need a hiring partner who helps make your life easier. You need Indeed.
Yep, they make it easy, guy, to hire the right talent fast and easy. You can choose from more than 130 skills tests. Let me rephrase that. 130 skill tests to find exactly what you're looking for. They must have requirements, so you only pay for applications that meet them. Here's the thing. According to Talent Nest, Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than all the other job sites combined. Get started right now with a free $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/ham. That's Indeed.com/ham.
With Indeed Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates as soon as they sponsor their job post. Get a $75 credit at Indeed.com/ham. Indeed.com/ham. Offer valid through June 30th. Terms and conditions apply. Mailbag, next up. Bag alert. DT Boone. Pod listener and YouTube watcher. Big fan. Love the Niners and NFL insider perspective. Why don't you see more non-football lifers get roles in the NFL? I'm in tech, ex-Amazon, now I run a startup, and outside the box thinking is highly valued and welcome to gain an edge versus competition. Aside from ownership, this doesn't seem to happen in football a ton. I think it is happening, though. More new money owners, right? They might be more inclined. We've seen it with the Browns, Paul DePodesta's leadership. We've seen it more in other sports, but I think the new money owners, the younger guys, the guys who made money on the internet, not who have family oil money. Now, these teams don't turn over a lot, but when that happens, I think I wouldn't be surprised. If you made your money as a disruptor, then you might be more willing to hire a quote-unquote, disruptor, non-football lifer.
What's there to disrupt, really, though?
Well, I think this idea that you could run a team in the same way that a baseball, you would say, is – Billy Beane's not actually an outsider. That's the irony of Billy, right? He's an insider. He was a top prospect. But now you've got non-traditional, non-quote-unquote lifers. I guess we got Mike McDaniel, non-lifer, although I guess he is a lifer. He just went to Yale. He's a lifer. The NBA, you've had people who are quote-unquote not scouts. Daryl Morey's all of a sudden become a GM, that sort of thing. I think that's what this person's referring to.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at two of the more aggressive coaches, right, that the Rams have been led by very, very aggressive. He's, born into an NFL family. I mean, it wasn't his dad, it was his grandpa. And Kyle, they just traded the farm for a guy that played at a small school. Like, isn't that different than what used to happen? Like, I'd say the game's changing and adapting. Like, there's what else can you do?
Well, I think the question is just, could you get people Do analytics close a gap? Do the numbers close a gap where experience gets devalued a little bit because what
For
you have
players
in
or
experience,
coaches?
No, I think he's talking about. I don't think he's talking about players.
Maybe
Non-football lifers getting roles in the NFL. Okay, so non-players, non-lifetime coaches, somebody who, is what's the guy Jeff Luna? What was he doing before he took over the Astros?
But I think that's happening. It's prevalent in the NFL. I mean, I was a non-football lifer. I got in. I think it happens all over.
Yeah, but you're also young. So how old were you when you got into the league from college football? I think
25.
I think what this person is talking about is you get a 50-year-old GM who comes from, again, where did Jeff
Amazon?
Yeah, where did Jeff Lunau come from? Maybe he had been.
But see, the difference though is baseball is just one big financial equation. Football is a lot different than that. I think we all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
And it is always used. I think a lot of football people push back. Do you not use the analytics? Yeah, we do. Literally everything is based on numbers, right? How many catches, even the most basic stuff, catches, 40 time, to down and distance, to how many times we run this play, the queries into game plans. It gets overblown how anti-numbers football people are. Their whole existence is based on numbers. And then you got to factor in feel, time of game, injuries, toughness.
But I do think there's a difference, right, between numbers. Baseball's always had numbers, batting average. But then baseball tried to create more numbers to replace some of the numbers that have been traditionally used, and that felt like disruption, even though it was just more numbers. But it was different than the way you traditionally think about things. Now, to your point in terms of disruption, we've seen it. Every coach now has the percentages on when to go, not just when to go for two. That's something but fourth down, not going to punt, midfield, right? If I just do this all the time, then in the end, the percentages will play out in my favor if I do things that are non-traditional in terms of decision making.
Down 14 in the fourth quarter, a lot of teams go for two now on that first touchdown, trying to win the game. I'd say that's disruption. Also, the GPS information they have that's not public is clearly,
But if you're a football lifer, you happily use that information, right?
I think there's pushback.
On GPS numbers?
I mean, it's just new to, any new information to me throws old school people off because you have to learn how to integrate it into your thinking.
So Lunau was hired by the Cardinals in 2003 in their front office. He was working at McKinsey and Company, which I don't think was a baseball team.
Darryl, same thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, more DePodestas. That's kind of the question, right? Yeah. Are there going to be more DePodestas?
I think most teams have some form or fashion of that guy, right? Wouldn't the Niners be considered with Parag to have an element of that?
Yeah.
He's been there a long time.
I mean, to me, when Parag becomes a GM, if he were to become a GM.
But I would imagine he makes way more money than 90% of the GMs. If not, he makes more than them all. So why would he want to become a GM?
Right. No, I understand. But I'm just saying, Parag is on the business side in many ways, right? He's not player evaluation. He's heavily involved in all the contract stuff, and that's as critical sometimes, or more so critical than the player evaluation. But
yeah, I mean, Howie is that guy.
Howie's that guy.
Andrew Barry, Harvard guy.
Yep.
It's kind of a unique background, though he played football.
Absolutely. So, I guess in the end, it's partly what you're saying is Major League Baseball is, if we look, probably predominantly general managed by those guys now.
Yeah. Do they discriminate against baseball guys?
Football's, the difference would be football. There is just a complete language that you have to know. Baseball, you don't really have to know the language, right?
But the thing is, even in football, most GMs, even guys that played, let alone guys the analytical guys, they don't know the plays. That's what makes football very confusing. If you went to your analytic guy, he wouldn't know what XJet, blah, blah, blah. He wouldn't know what that is.
There's a whole element to the sport, the in-game management of the sport that baseball has, but it's very different in baseball, right? You got time to say, okay, Middlecoff comes into the game, let's bring Haberman up to the plate to face him.
100%. Or this guy's throwing this many sliders, he needs to throw more fastballs, right? You can't, why do you not run more 5-yard out routes for 7-yard slant route? There is nuance that is just borderline impossible to know if you're not a coach.
Finally, John, this is from Facebook. Somebody asked us this on Facebook. tagged us in a Facebook post. You can go to the Haberman and Middlecoff Facebook page. Who should perform the Super Bowl halftime next year? I'll say The Dead with John Mayer. What do you say? I mean, probably one correct answer to this question right now.
Justin Bieber?
Harry Styles.
Is he blown up?
Watermelon Sugar. I mean, it's the song of the season for I don't know when that song came out, but it's still the biggest song on planet Earth, I think.
Guy, I think you're way behind here. I think that song peaked in late 2019 or something.
Yeah, it definitely did. And right now, if you played that in your local water park, the place would erupt. I mean, not a single person hates that song. It's impossible.
Yeah, I
DJ Khaled.
Whenever
Bag Alert song.
Yeah, I heard Little Baby had this song called Drop. I listened to it last night actually on Facebook trying to load something on our page, and sometimes you just it's not bad. And I started thinking, would I like this if I was 14? I probably would because I hate it. I thought it was this is pretty stupid. But listen, I think they kind of play the hits. More likely to be Foo Fighters or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, who fits the profile that has never gotten the opportunity? That's the other
I can see.
question.
I mean, I think Bieber could do it.
Of course, Bieber could always do it.
It wouldn't shock me if they just give Bieber. I guess they don't give anyone money. That's part of their thing.
No.
They don't pay you. I can see Bieber doing it. Do you remember when Bieber almost ran over Keyshawn Johnson's kid and Keyshawn chased him around the neighborhood in Calabasas?
Because Bieber was just speeding around in his cars.
I think he's come a long way. I feel like Bieber's just kind of become civilized. Got married and just kind of much more normal.
I mean, hard when you become famous. I give you a break when you could get worldwide famous at 12 years old or however old
it is.
Was.
It is not disputable. Listen, I came around on the weekend. Partly just I wasn't that locked into the weekend. Then I started listening. I'm like, oh yeah, I know all the songs. He's sweet. Bieber's good. Bieber's very, very talented.
Not debatable.
Not debatable. I would choose Bieber. Who would you choose?
I told you, Harry Styles.
Is Harry Styles dating Taylor Swift?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't think he is.
Olivia Wilde, John.
That's Roger's ex-girlfriend.
No, that's Olivia Munn.
That's Olivia Munn, yeah. I was watching something the other day that had Roger's fiance in the movie. And the movie was pretty terrible.
Oh, his current.
It was it was an older movie. It was bad. It wasn't her fault. She's talented, but
I just know her from that HBO show. Did you guys see the picture this on YouTube of Herbert looking yoked? I did see it, and I thought Herbert's always been yoked. I don't know if people didn't realize Herbert's been yoked, but I guess he got yokered.
I don't feel like the casual guy realized Herbert was 6'6" and had a huge arm.
I thought the same thing when I saw that photo. I don't think people realized. I was just going to say this whole Mac Jones, whoever wrote the story, Mac's not quite ready. You and I have been talking we started talking about this. I said it a couple months ago. This idea of pro-ready is pretty crazy. Pro-ready is Andrew Luck. That's pro-ready. The list of guys we get to talk about, they're pro-ready, very short, and Mac Jones did not belong on that list. In hindsight, Herbert was obviously pro-ready, but we didn't talk about him that way because we didn't really see him look that way, right?
I'll give you an example. Herbert, if you would have put Oregon Herbert at Alabama his senior year on that team last year, they probably aren't as good. Mac was better for them. As an NFL prospect, you'd think maybe he would have been. But let's just say the Herbert we saw at Oregon that kind of overthrew some guys, put that at Alabama, and maybe they're still good enough. Maybe they still
can't overthrow him at Alabama, John.
That is true. But as prospects, they have nothing fucking in common. He has them by 4 inches, probably 15 pounds. And one guy's throwing 100 on the gun, and the other guy's hitting 91.
Major athlete, Herbert.
Oh my! Run circles around him. There is no chance that Mac Jones is ever as good as Justin Herbert. It's physically impossible. But I think the casual fan that didn't watch Pac-12 football, if you would have been "Oh, what do you think about Justin Herbert? How big do you think he is?" They would have been "Oh, Jimmy 6'2". He was talked about like he was Jimmy Garoppolo size.
Yeah,
he's bigger than Josh Allen. I mean, he's an elite prospect.
I
Looking
stood
back
next to him, and it was stunning.
Yeah, he is. The Chargers got very, very lucky. Very, very lucky.
I want to just mention this as a public service announcement, John, especially since sometimes we like to spell weekend mailbag without the E's or with one of the E's missing or two of the E's missing. If somebody sends you today a TMZ story that says the weekend has died, it's not true. B, don't click it.
It's a penis?
You might wish it was a penis.
Okay. I haven't got a good penis text like that in a while.
When someone just makes you, because the guy died, people maybe feel guilty about throwing that,
But you don't even need to do died. You'd be like, oh, do you see Tiger Woods is playing next week?
No, I know, but the guy that was always part of that trick, that guy died.
Yeah. The big penis. Yeah.
How do you guys know Mac Jones isn't
he
ready? He hasn't played a game yet.
Well, he's getting crushed.
It's a good point. We don't know.
No, we
come
don't
out looking like Drew Brees. All right. Good mailbag, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. Get us mailbag questions on iTunes. Leave us a question in that review. And, yeah.
Adios.
You said you don't get a good penis trick DM anymore? The Rocky Mountain Razorback on YouTube says, what's your number, John? I'll fix that. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging. Later.